Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody, and welcome to the penultimate round in the reserve program. Can't believe I'm already saying that. Feels like the season just started yesterday, even though it is round 17 of the season. It's crazy how fast time flies when you're having fun. But we are here this time at the Dutch Grand Prix at Zandvoort, a circuit that has been around since 1948. There are a few different layout changes. This layout has been around since roughly about 2020, or sorry, 2019 is where we see kind of this modernish layout of Zandvoort, with a lot of its earlier parts coming in 1999. 2.67 or 2.646 miles. The 2019 layout had a little bit of extra tarmac to play with, but it is a very twisty and very tight roller coaster of a racing circuit. My name is Patrick Coleman, aka Ruckus, and I'll be one of your hosts and commentators for tonight's broadcast. And for the first time here in Rush, and I believe the first time in general, we have a driver who is currently leading the championship in Div 4, jumping into the comments box. It is Quicksilver. How you doing tonight, mate?
I'm doing just fine, thank you, Rekkers. Got lovely Zandvoort weather, seems to be just sunny for qualifying. As said, I am the Div 4 Championship leader. Not much else to say for myself, as we have our first car on track. I believe that will be the Ferrari of XX Killer.
Yeah, so we'll just kind of see how tonight goes. Zandvoort is a really fun track. I do genuinely love this track. It's not exactly easy to get an overtake on because it is a very narrow, windy track, but it's probably just one of it's like Monaco almost, right? Where it's tough to overtake, but man, just doing laps around here is extremely satisfying. And I know you're going to be racing it this week, trying to seal up that Div 4 title. How do you feel about this track?
Yeah, I'm feeling very confident around here. Obviously, very twisty track. I believe it's 14 turns. The trickiest part is probably keeping it planted after turn two into the turn three complex. Respectfully, has 19 degrees of banking. Ideally, you want to be taking it flat out on the entry. Very hard to keep planted on exit, but yeah, it's a very fun track. Have a small lead in the championship, and I am very excited to go this Monday night.
Yeah, actually, as it sits right now, there's only one of the championships that has been decided, even though that could be changed with penalties pending. Division 3 was wrapped up in, just about in principle yesterday, with Breadman winning the title despite only winning a singular Grand Prix. So and actually, his first win of the season came in Monaco last night. So that's just a testament to good consistency. Riding on board now with Sonny Bray as he goes ahead and makes his way through the racing circuit. Heading through a lot of these corners that I'm not even going to try to pronounce because I'm going to butcher the Dutch pronunciations of this track. A track that is unfortunately leaving the calendar after the 2026 Formula One season. Hopefully, it doesn't stay gone for too long because this can be a really exciting track. Some of the best overtaking opportunities is in that turn 5, or sorry, that turn 4, that really deep banking part. Now, here's an interesting thing, as Sonny Bray is going to come across the line here, coming out of the Ludenjik. I try to pronounce that. I'm just gonna call it the Indy banking because it's kind of like the Indy road course banking um, from that track that was used most recently in 2006. But yeah, we're seeing a few times come across the board. Now, the thing I love about the reserve program is that you have so many drivers, and in this case, even a commentator, looking to go ahead and get a good fresh start here in Rush. So should be a fun time here tonight here, Quicksilver.
Yeah, of course, we've seen some pretty decent times already. Symphonic setting a 09.5. Definitely plenty of time to find there, but of course it's only the first in as Ninvim in the McLaren actually goes fastest with a 40 with sorry, an 09.4. So plenty of good times out here so far. Yeah, we have a car stopped on track. The V carb of Uncle Rookie actually seems to have parked it on the apex, getting out of the way of a car, which is very interesting, Rekus.
Yeah, I mean we've seen that here from time to time as Kenworth jumps up to a 109.3 here on the track. So we're going to see some very interesting things here this season. Abhishek now going to continue. Well, he's actually invalidated, so he won't be making any improvements. The governor is back in the Haas, and makes you wonder if that's going to be his seat for next season. As we actually get ready to look forward to the 2026 DLC, which is expected to be revealed at some point here this coming week. I think actually on the day of the Silverstone reserve program, the final reserve program of the season, it'll be there. So it should be at least we should at least see a gameplay trailer. And then I think it's expected to come out like 2 weeks after, about a week after, one of those two. But Kongbus now making his way on through. A driver that has a bit of a cult following here in Rush, believe it or not. Kongbus making his way through as Yusuf has binned it. He's binned it into Indy. So the McLaren driver is one of the McLarens is out, and I wasn't expecting anyone to bin it here in quali, but there is a curb here on this track that leads up right into that banking area, the kind of that NASCAR-esque banking area, where I'm sure you know about the turn, like I think it's turn 7, the turn 7 Jetta curb, where if you ride it, you just go straight. There's one of those here.
Yeah, see, I'll say there's a few of those here. Pretty much on the exit of almost every turn, you'll find one of those curbs. They are very deadly. You don't want to put more than 2 tires over it, and if you do, that could just spell race over, really. Or in this case, qualifying over. So it will be interesting to see if all 20 drivers in the Grand Prix can avoid the curbs, as Aiden is Raiden sets the fast time of an 08.7 for his banker.
Very impressive time there from the Red Bull. One of the drivers still within championship contention for Div 1. Div 1 is a 5 or 6 way championship fight. Like, I think everybody either the top 5 or 6 is separated by like 9 points in that Div 1 championship. So that's going to be a spicy one to follow coming throughout. As we're going to just kind of bounce around between different drivers here as they go ahead and set their laps around this roller coaster of a circuit. We have Dubs making his way, beginning the final sector, getting a little bit into the gravel. You can see a little bit of that gravel trail just being left onto the circuit. And you got to get a good run coming through here because this could really... I mean, it's such a simplistic corner, but it can really make or break your quality time. As Dubs jumps up into P16 at the moment, with Abhishek, Com United, and Goats for Life still yet to set a quality time as of now. Yeah, this is going to be a fun one, especially if rain gets involved. If rain gets involved, then this one could be a really interesting track. It's tricky getting a good setup on this track because you feel like you have a bunch of grip, but there's a lot of areas where you'll soon realize that, yeah, grip is just not here.
Yeah, lots of sections on the track where you'd say there's no grip really, but another interesting factor obviously is the dirty air, especially in that middle sector. You have lots of high speed corners, and if you just misjudge the throttle by like 5%, you could be flying far off the track or just wide enough to lose out on a few positions, especially on that first lap when you could be trailing up to 19 cars, as we have 2 more retirements.
All at the
I'll let
same
you take that
time.
one, I reckon.
So I didn't see what happened, but doing some detective work here and seeing that there's 2 cars at the same spot, they might have collided with each other. So,
I reckon so.
boy,
Oh,
oh
reckon
boy,
Zombie's
we
gonna be
are.
happy about that one.
Well, I think you picked a fantastic race to jump in at. So we have
And
picked.
it's only the beginning, Wreckers.
It is indeed. It is only the beginning.
We have yellow flags. Sector
Uh,
1 seems to be all cleared up. That might be a Ferrari going slowly. Yeah, must have just been Nixon slowing down.
Probably on a cooldown.
Nothing major, as we just saw, but we have 8 minutes to go, and our top lap is an 08.79 set by Aiden is Raiden. And I believe he is one of our Div 1 championship contenders, only 2 points behind our leader, as the top 9 are only separated by 9 points.
Oh yeah, so it's even crazier than I was saying earlier. That is very, and that's why Diff One is a lot of fun. I mean, to be fair, I think you can say that about pretty much every division, as there has been a Williams having a bit of a moment. This is Credit Karma
Ooh.
having front wing damage, missing that end plate. Now, okay, I will say, I don't know about your opinion on different liveries and such. This black Williams liver has really grown on me.
It's beautiful.
I was really on the fence about it when they actually used this in Las Vegas, but it has really grown on me quite a bit since then.
You think like a dominant sort of black livery looks good on any Formula car, especially with the touches of the darker blue. It's just a work of art, really.
This is a work of art. This is malarkey. I'm kidding. I like the Alpine livery. Speaking of Alpine, did you hear about the new title sponsor change that might be happening at Alpine for next year?
I have. I have heard that we could potentially be getting a Gucci title sponsorship collaboration going on here.
That I'm curious on what they're gonna do livery wise for that, because that could be really, really interesting. Now I will say,
Yeah, I was about to ask. Oh,
oh,
you take it away.
no, I was just gonna say, I do like the Alpine livery. I kind of wish they
Oh,
tried so.
we have a Red Bull in the wall, heading out into turn 14. Looks like it's a bit of a struggle getting out. He's just gonna reverse across the track, it seems,
He's
back
just
to the
gonna tomato
pits.
this.
That's then we've got it going.
Well, Red Bull gives you wings, and I think the wings, yeah, Red Bull gives you wings, and sometimes those wings get broken. Speaking
Yeah,
of a broken
that's the
wing,
V carbs. No lack
that's
of front
Phoenix,
wing
I think.
on that V carb.
Oh,
Ah,
that is Phoenix.
poor Phoenix. What an impression on her first race in Rush, coming from commentary.
To be fair, Zandvoort, like we were talking about, Zandvoort is not an easy track, and to give Phoenix credit, right? Um, Phoenix is actually still, their car is still drivable. There's currently 3 other drivers who cannot say the same at the moment, so at least Phoenix, the tires are still attached.
Yeah, Phoenix has probably one more chance to get out instead of fast time here in quali. I believe she's a Div 5 reserve.
Yeah, I think they're Div 5 reserve. Their first race was in Hungary, which did not go to plan. I remember I was covering that race, and I got hit with EA shenanigans, and she got nuked on the. Or they got nuked. Apologies. They got nuked on the first lap. So, I mean, it happens though. Pick 2 of the toughest tracks, aside from maybe Monaco, to jump in for a reserve program. So kudos for even jumping in, because I've been here since season 7. I still haven't even jumped into a reserve program race. Already one step ahead of me.
I recommend it. Getting out for the reserve program is always good fun. You could obviously use it to sort of set yourself a mark of where you're going to be in Rush heading into the future, but also if you're an existing full-time driver, it just gives you so much of a chance to improve. I do really recommend jumping in one of these cars at some point.
Yeah, I mean, granted, I can commentate all right at the righteous hour of it is currently almost 6 a.m. my time. Driving on the other hand might be a bit of a different struggle. We'll see. I have
Never know till you
considered
try.
it. I have considered it. Although I don't think my netcode would be super great coming from the American equivalent of the land down under, aka Florida. So Well, we will see. Why do you think I always like kind of glaze Miami? Because it's a track that I'm like an hour and a half away from. Anywho,
I mean, hey, despite popular belief, it's a great track.
thank you.
Just to drive on, of course.
He might be one of my favorites already.
No, Sector 1 flows very well, so I'll give it its flowers. It's great to do hot laps on.
I think really the one thing, I mean, dirty air in Miami is always a tough one. That's a tricky one to follow. Um, and also that really, like, here's the thing. When I love something, I won't be afraid to kind of point out its flaws. That weird chicane before you go on to that massive, what I like to call the I-95 straight, the back straight.
Ooh.
That chicane beforehand, it's a really awkward chicane. I will say that it's tough. I can understand.
Especially when you try to go for an overtake.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, and I was gonna go on board with Phoenix as they went for another lap, but looks like there's a little too much momentum coming into the beginning of Sector 2, and just a bit of a rally trip. It's very easy to do on this track. It's very easy to carry a lot of momentum. All right, Quicksilver, you are about to experience, from this side for once at least, what is affectionately known here at Rush as Rush Hour, where everybody is going to go ahead and try to get out for their final laps. And we're going to see this track get very, very, very busy. So, who do you want to jump on board with for a lap?
Let's see who's on a lap. Is there anyone on a lap?
Some people are about to start. There's a Red Bull
Yeah.
about to start.
See, where's Red Bull? Sonny Bray.
All right,
Now, would you like me to take this one away?
give it a go?
Of course, heading down to heavy braking of turn 1, down to 120 kilometers per hour. Now already heading to this very fast right hand sweeper down into the left of turn 3, 19-degree banking through there, holding down the battery, heading down. It's very long, not necessarily a straight section. We have 2 turns heading through there. Now down into the flat out turn 7. Will he take turn 8 flat? No, there will be a slight lift and downshift down to 6th. Braking at the 50 meter zone. Goes a bit wide into turn 8, but salvages it right into turn 9, going down to 3rd gear. DRS slots open on the rear wing. So Williams moves out of the way, heading into the Hanshurst chicane. Keeps it nice and planted, very tidy through there. Now heading into the double right-handers. Slight steep, 18-degree baking as Phoenix retires from the session. As has Dubs. We have a crash on last turn. I believe that would be Phoenix, but I'll be Sonny bracing a time of an 09.7 for his final lap.
Jumping from one Red Bull to another, it is going to be Aiden Raiden now on a lap as well. He's got a big correction coming through turn 1, and that is going to be his qualifying done and dusted. Abhishek is done. Kungabus is done. I'm going to jump on board.
Oh, and he spins it again.
Oh, that's not a great place to spin it, but luckily he's at the part of the lap where everybody will be done with a lap by that point, so.
We might have him coming through.
And then now it's going to be Kenworth into Kick Sauber, currently P2, just shy of 4/10 away from that pole position set by Aines Raiden. Going to burn it down to the line, and it is
So we have
pole
a crash.
position. And,
I believe Axed just before turn 14 might have spun it on the curb
and
as he heads
Aines
into the
Raiden
pits.
has
Aiden's disqualified, so he's going to be starting right from the back here.
Ooh, and he qualified second as well. So that is
He won't be
rough.
happy about that one.
Oh, not in the slightest. He is not going to be happy about that. I think that's pretty much mostly everybody done for qualifying. The governor is actually on
Yeah,
a. He's on a. No, he's done. Um,
Gangster just crossed the line, couldn't improve.
yeah, so I think it's now just everybody just going
So,
into pits.
yeah, looks like we're done.
So it is a Sauber 1-2 here in Zandvoort. So very good stuff here from the Sauber team. A 1-2 at the Dutch Grand Prix. You love to see it, but Kenworth about half a second clear of Abhishek. Now, qualifying is one thing here, Quicksilver, but as you know, the Grand Prix, although granted, it is reserve program, but the Grand Prix is where the points are at. So, Kenworth making it across the line. I think he actually got an improvement there at the end. Although, don't know if that I've counted. He was going to be pole either way. But, a very good run here for the Saubers as we go through your qualifying order. Kenworth ahead of Abhishek, ahead of Symphonic, Com United, Ninvim, Unk Rookie, Zombie, Gangster, Sunny Bright, Nixon, The Governor, Axed, Goats for Life, Kungbus, Credit Karma, Hoffy, Dubs, Phoenix, Yusuf, and Aiden is Raiden, who qualified P2, but got DSQ'd for parking in a dangerous location. And we hit him with the age-old saying of, you can't park this, huh?
Of course, speaking of Gov, where did he end up after all that?
I think 11th.
11th. He is representing Div 4, of course, as is Com United, all the way up in P4, so that's a very impressive qualifying for him, I'd say.
Yeah, so we'll see how this one kind of goes. And the weather is still very nice. And the thing about this track is you get a really nice coastal breeze here as we are actually not too far from the beach here. So, I mean, post race, if some drivers just have a bit of a tough time, you could just go have a beach day after the fact.
Of course, if this were real Zandvoort, it would be very nice, actually, to be just down from the beach, but hopefully we don't see anyone beach it heading it down into turn 1.
Oh,
Very tight, very slow right-hander. The further down you are the field, the slower you're going to be going. So hopefully we have a lot of spatial awareness down the field, and I think this is going to be a very exciting first lap.
you're using puns already. Yep, this is a man after my own heart. Here we go. It is time to get ready to rock and roll and get ready to go here in Zandvoort. And it is lights out and away we go here at the Dutch Grand Prix. Chaos already happening in the backfield as a few drivers trying to jockey for a position going 3-1 through turn 1, and there's a Haas around. It is Axed. Axed got turned around and he's out of the Grand Prix. Yes.
We have Williams. We have everyone's in the wall. We have.
Oh.
I believe it's a virtual safety car now. Sony Bray down the back of the field. Lots happened there in the turn 1, turn 2 complex.
Yeah. Well,
It
what
was-
happened there is a very good question.
Governor gets a 10-second for a severe collision with the McLaren of Nimvim up in P8, so it must have collided under the VSC there. Not sure if that's Delta related or if he's just sent into the back. We'll have to probably wait till after the race to find out there. But that was very heart racing, don't you think, Rekus?
That's one way to put it. I mean, this track does have some oddly NASCAR like qualities. Like you got those pretty aggressively banked turns of turn 3 and then the final corner, turn 14. Those are both really, really high banked corners. So I mean, that was a NASCAR type crash right there. As we are back racing here in Zandvoort, take 2 and action. As Com United is going to try to fight around the outside. You can sometimes overtake around the outside coming into turn 1. It is a tricky one, but it can be done. Gangster, 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. So we're already seeing some penalties fly on through. Those drivers definitely getting some damage repaired on their machines. as Com United is going to go ahead and try to close in the gap. And then you have Unk Rookie here. Pretty funny name. He's going to try to go ahead and try to. Oh! And Applejack spins it! He has just
No!
had a big snap of oversteer. He's going to use the runoff just so he doesn't come back in front of anybody to cause any collisions. Good track awareness there from Abhishek, but he does have a Ferrari pretty much right up his gearbox. It's going to be Nixon right there, and we are seeing so much drama here unfolding in this race here, Quicksilver. Hopefully you got some water, because you're going to need it after this one.
I'm sorry to say I did forget my water, but that Ferrari you were just talking about, it seems to already be missing both of its end plates, so not sure what's going on there. Is Kentworth since the fastest lap with an 11.642 as United goes on the inside of Rookie there. Used to have been in the V Cup. It looks like Axe needs an invite. If you'd like to take us back, I'll just get him back in the lobby.
He's retired, so you don't need to worry about it.
Oh, alright. Sweet.
He crashed out in turn. He was annihilated in turn 1, so.
Oh, I completely missed it.
No need to worry about that. And it's an unfortunate one there for Axe, as he does have some pretty funny reactions in the Twitch chat, I will say. As the battles are happening here through Zandvoort, this track, I mean, the DRS trains are pretty common here in Zandvoort, but I mean, this is more of like a DRS roller coaster with just how hilly this track is. I'm actually going to be really excited to see how the 2026 spec cars go through here. Probably going to be some good battling because they are shorter and more narrow cars. I mean, we're getting some pretty action-packed racing from them, even on tracks where overtaking is kind of iffy. Goes for life and bend it.
He's retired.
He's
That's
bend it.
Probably, it looks like he's come off the curb, heading out of turn 13. Straight into the wall, and we have a safety car.
Yep, it is a full safety car this time around. I know it's tough to see, but there is a yellow dot on the map, and when you see that yellow dot, that is not Renault rejoining Formula 1 as Renault. That is actually the safety car that is here. So that is the second crash here of the day, and we're only on lap numero cuatro here. Ooh, that is unfortunate business there. As Kenworth, he did really good to build up about a 4-second gap at least before the safety car, but now that whole gap is going to get eradicated here. So just still kind of looking at the tires, there's a few drivers opting for that soft tire. Majority, actually, that's kind of evenly split for the most part, as Symphonic getting a penalty for hitting Unk Rookie. So we're seeing quite a few of those here. So this is, I like to say that the reserve program is like a preview, right? It's like the trailer for what the week is gonna bring. And oh boy, we are in for shenanigans. And I know Phoenix is probably gonna murder me post stream for saying this, but the Stewards are gonna have a field day with this track.
As that's United with another 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. That is not great news for him. Obviously contending for the front end positions. Very interesting mix of tires, as you mentioned earlier. Some started on the softs, and we have Nimvim and Dub staying out on those soft compound tires. And it seems already that some of these safety car guys have split on the strategy. Sonny Bray and Aiden have gone on to the mediums, while everyone else really has gone on to the hards. Maybe they could be extending to the end. Maybe there'll be another stop. Who knows? We'll have to wait and find out, Rekus.
Yeah, we're going to find out indeed. I'm going to be curious, though, to see how this one kind of pans out. It's going to be a tricky situation for some of these drivers, because it's the tire life will kind of fluctuate depending on like the distance of the race. So the tires will last a bit longer on the 35% races, which is what we're doing here, versus the 50% of the normal. And then even different for the 100% Grand Prix that we do occasionally throughout the season, which I did hear that I heard from the big man himself that there is expected to be more 100% races next season. I think it's actually,
Ooh.
and now I take this with a grain of salt. I think it's effectively doubling how many 100% races we have next season. So, for context, we have 3 this season, so it might be 6 next season. So, lots of 100% Grand Prix. Curious to see what tracks they'll be at. I mean, I could promise you the Nürburgring ain't going to be one of them, unfortunately. Although, I think the 24 hours of the Nürburgring is this weekend, isn't it?
I'm not quite up to date with endurance, but I believe we might be seeing it this weekend. Touching back on strategy, the hards really are expected to make it to the end if you'd like to stretch them out, really. But who knows? We've still got 19 laps to go. Plenty of time for another safety car, or maybe everyone's going to pit under greens. We'll have to wait and see. But also touching on what you said about the 100%ers, if you'd like to think back to Season 7 for anyone who was in the league, we actually had a 100% for every third race that season, which is just insane to think about.
That was the season I joined. I joined like partway through that season. Yeah, that was actually that was when I first bursted onto the OCE scene. Safety car will be in this lap, and crazy to think I've been here since like it was more so like the tail end of season 7. It was right around Coda that season where I jumped in. I remember the first race I did was F2 Las Vegas. That was the first race I've ever done here with Rush. It was myself and Dynasty Sparrow commentating that one. So I wouldn't mind doing F2 again, although the F2 cars in this game aren't exactly the most enjoyable to drive. But these cars are very enjoyable to drive as we go ahead and get ready to go back racing here in Zandvoort. A very good launch there from Kenworth. As we're already seeing the governor and Aiden is ready to go wheel to wheel. Coming through turn number 1 around the outside. That move does get done. And we're seeing some excellent racing here coming through turn 3. The 19 degrees of banking that you were talking about earlier on here. As Aiden now trying to make another position up on Ninvim. Ninvim still on the starting so soft start. Dior stops running left on the field, and that is a ludicrous move there from Aiden is Raiden. Full tilt. He decided that he wasn't going to lift until he saw the Lord himself with a checkered flag. Very good overtake there as there's a Ferrari that's lost it. Dubs has had a bit of a moment there as he's back going again. I think he's still missing both of those end plates, which is tough around this track. And he just murks one of the distance barriers. Jumping back up to the race now. Aiden is Raiden is on a tear right now. I think he's moved up at least 1 or 2 positions since the restart.
17 to be exact, Rekus. As Yusuf has also moved up 12 positions, so a very big charge up the field from these two. The biggest losers so far we've seen are Abhishek and Gum United.
Oh, this is gonna be crazy stuff. And then next up, we're gonna jump on board with Phoenix as per the on-board request. Actually, if that's them crossing the line right now, I think it is. We'll go ahead and jump on board for.
Oh, we have an acid in the wall. That is
Never mind.
Symphonic spun around.
We are gonna wait on
Just
that.
up turn 3.
Yeah,
It looks like he's gotten away with it. With no damage, actually. He's got off scot-free there. Not sure what happened, but Abhishek's also losing out.
kind of the like the radio message from Lando Norris a couple of years back. You got any damage? Talent.
Talent, yeah.
First thing I kind of think about with that incident, which is just no damage. We'll jump aboard with Phoenix Flyer for the next lap, so I won't count that as the onboard lap because we got through one corner before shenanigans kicked off. So as we go ahead and get ready to go here, still going to be some good battles just up and down the field as Ninvim. Oh my lord! 3 wide. We are really in the NASCAR track, aren't we? Alright, so
It's unbelievable.
onto a flying lap with Phoenix. as Phoenix will make their way coming down into turn number 1. Good on the brakes. Very nicely done fighting through that turn 1. It's a very tricky turn 1 sometimes, and it's actually one of the few turn 1s where the outside lane is going to be pretty key. Gangster trying to make his way through. He's actually retired in the pits, so that won't be of any issue. That won't break out a VSC or anything of the sort. He's just calling it quits there. And it's been a pretty tricky race for the Williams. Phoenix now still going through the full speed turn 7. And now coming up into the tricky turns 8 and 9. We're going to see how the braking works here. Good on the brakes. And Gangster has dipped out of the session, as Phoenix is going to continue to give it all they've got coming into this really tricky chicane, hard on the brakes. And now coming through the tricky sector where we've seen a few cars bin it on the day, as Phoenix is going to go ahead and make their way through turn 13, and now the massive sweeping turn 14. And it's going to be coming to the line. And that was Phoenix on board through Zandvoort. And to answer the question in chat, actually, I don't think so. There was a driver, and Quicksilver, you probably will remember them. Claire Aoki was a driver that we've had for a while. I wonder how they're doing. They used to be a Red Bull driver, I think in Div 2, I want to say. We are really going in the archives.
I'll be honest, I don't really have much recollection, but this midfield pack from
hello.
Governor to Nixon are all within 1 second, so we've already got a massive DRS train going through there. Saw them when we were on all board with Phoenix. They got very close within turn 2, turn 3. I'm surprised there was no incident there as Zombie goes around the outside of Gov. Very easy move for him with the DRS. Sure, be happy with that. Was Sony think about her position here? He'll stick behind.
Oh, there's a Ferrari!
Oh!
Retired on track. Ooh, that's a no-no. Although I don't think they crashed. Because he was in the middle of the road. I don't think he crashed. I think that was just retirement on track. Because if he crashed, I think it would have brought out a VSC. I think it would have anyway. Although, then again, Monaco happened, and there's a few crashes there that didn't actually bring out a VSC of some sort, somehow, some way. But who knows? It's weird sometimes with safety cars here in F125, as Aiden is rated now. I mean, the monstrous drive he's had here today, up 18 positions. He qualified P2, started from the back due to being disqualified for parking in an illegal location, and now he's looking to make the move for the lead, and that is as easy as pie. Red Bull is giving him wings, and those wings are working like a charm.
19 positions is honestly insane. This man is on a mission right here, and I don't think he's slowing down as Cruder.
I think Cruder might have hit that curb.
Yeah, he might have hit it a bit too hard. Do we have a virtual? Yep, virtual safety car on lap 12 of 25.
I was watching from Phoenix perspective, and I just saw a tire on the road.
Let's hope the Marshals get that one out of the way.
Yep, and another 10 taker for speeding in the pit lane for Ninvim,
who had Inters on, by the looks of things. Which is a very interesting strategy, I will say.
I'm gonna put you. I know you're driving for a Ferrari right now. I'm gonna take you back to the beginning of the last season. I want to say it was a 100% Jetta to kick things off, and there was a Ferrari that, in their infinite wisdom, on Jetta decided, yes, full wets, during a 100% Jetta Grand Prix, while it was bone dry. So that just goes to show, ladies and gentlemen, that the the Ferrari shenanigans when it comes to pit strategy still happens in 2026 in the Formula One racing game. So DRS is now re-enabled, and Aines Raiden has done the good. He's got a 4-second gap, and he's gonna say, "Sayonara, suckers," and he is gone.
This is also a very strong showing for drivers like Kongbus up in P4, being a Div 5 driver on 8-lap old hards. Might be looking to make another stop, but no, this is a very strong showing for him, and it looks like Aiden really isn't slowing down. But a question for you, Rekus. Are the mediums going to fall off towards the end of the race?
Definitely. I mean,
They've gone 9 laps. We've got another 12 to go.
yeah,
Can he do it?
The thing is, like, because I like to say I specialize in these, because when I do career mode, I do the 35% races, right? And I'm on the controller, and Tyreware is a bit trickier to manage on the controller, granted, but this banking will do a surprising number to your tires on this track. So I could barely get them to last about, like, around lap 14 or even 13 is when I would come in, because my tires are already at like 60-some%. So yeah, I don't think the media, unless Aiden shows some generational tire management, or we get another couple of VSCs, as that is Symphonic around
That's
again.
Symphonic losing a front wing.
He's going back to the aerodynamics of the 70s, where they didn't really use front wings quite a lot in some of those later ground effect cars. And it's just ground effect and no front wing.
Yeah. I believe he came into contact with his teammate Hoffy or Uncle Rookie. They were in a 3-way scrap heading out of turn 1. It's not a place you'd expect to crash, really. It's where beyond the corner exit he's put into the grass. So we'll have to wait and hear about that. Safe to say he'll be boxing this lap and might make a charge towards the end of the race.
I wouldn't be too surprised for Aiden Raiden. I mean, Div 1 still in championship contention as Kenworth gets moved on. And oh, the Ferrari of Nixon trying to get one around the outside of Kongbus. Ferrari versus Mercedes. I know what happened the last time a Ferrari and a Mercedes went side by side around this track, and ended with a Ferrari getting hit with Mercedes shenanigans.
Ooh.
We don't see that repeated here this time, as Kongbus still holds on those 10-lap old hard tires, doing very nicely to hold on to them. Currently, yeah, actually a pretty good result for Kongbus, standing at P5 at the moment. Normally he's, even in Div 5, he's not this high up, and he's actually doing really darn well, all things considered. He's keeping it out of the walls, keeping his car facing in the right direction, and I mean,
Got a bit of a snap there.
Indeed, as Nixon's going to try to maybe send a move up the inside, coming through the chicane. Not exactly the place you want to do a move, but up, and that is Symphonic again.
Oh, Symphonic in the wall again. And does he have his front wing this time?
Kind of deceiving.
Just waiting to get a different perspective. Yep, looks to be intact. But yeah, going back up here, Nixon has just been trying lap after lap to eat away at Kongbus, and he just can't get past. Kong parking the bus very well into braking zones such as turn 1, as we have a yellow flag, and that would be Symphonic again heading off into the gravel. So this is not a race to remember for Symphonic.
Yeah, this has been a very, very tough one for the normally a V-Carb driver. He's competing with Aston here in the reserve program, because contracts don't exactly really mean anything in the grand scheme of things when it comes to the reserve program. You can run for any team you like, because there's no points on the line for any of these teams. So Symphonic running the Aston Martin here tonight, as Nixon still tries to put in a lot of pressure, but I think he had a bit of a moment coming through turn 11. And now he's going to go to make his way coming up to the banking, coming to what I like to call the Indy corner. and he's just going to go ahead and just try to trace on through. He's actually losing a good amount of time to Kungbus. He does have Unk Rookie behind.
Oh,
And
Symphonic. Turn 3. You just lost the rears. Heading into the corner, and you just can't seem to keep it planted, Wreckers.
yeah, I know, it seems like that's going to be a bit of trouble, but Com United now trying to chase down Abhishek. It is a 4-lap Old Hards versus 3-lap Old Hards, but the DRS is going to kick in. Trying to dive it up the inside. Break lock up there from Abhishek. Trying to hold on to the outside. Now, holding on the outside is a very weird sentence to say, because normally you want to try to stick the inside, but, I think, I got a feeling it was not Symphonic actually this time. No, it was. Symphonic was involved in that somehow.
I feel like he was just getting out of the way. I wasn't
Probably.
too sure. His teammate Toffee's actually about to lap him, it seems. Heading back up to Kumbus and the V-car's got to try and make a move here, I reckon. Very low on the battery, but he will have the DRS advantage on Kung, who has tapped the wall. As we're going to go for a move around the outside. He's going to get it stuck. He will get the move done on Kungbus as Nixon, who was trailing them, got a 10-second penalty for speeding into the pit, stopping onto the fresh set of mediums. So he's going to come back for a late charge here. Will he catch back up? To them is the question.
That is going to be the question indeed, as we've had our 6th retirement of the session, being Symphonic, retiring in the pit lane. So no harm, no foul there, as Symphonic. I mean, it was a tricky one. It was definitely a day to forget there for the Aston Martin driver. I mean, but sometimes you're gonna have those races that you're like, well, that's gonna be a race to forget, as we're already right at the end of the race here, Quicksilver. So far, I mean, it's still Aina's ready to holding on.
That is Nixon. The Ferrari Nixon into the gravel, heading out of turn 8, I believe that is, into 9. So he might not charge back as quickly as we thought, but he's going to have the tyre advantage on all these guys up ahead if he can keep it planted for the remaining 5 laps after this time around.
Yeah, so we'll just kind of see how this one pans out. And I mean, granted, it is a reserve program, so a lot of drivers are really just trying to learn ahead of either their rush debut for next season or something at the start. He's coming out and finally gets that move done on to Abhishek. He's got the outside line, which is ideal to have going in that turn 1. This is one of the quirks I love about this track, is that there's a lot of corners where sometimes the outer lane or the outside line is going to be the more favorable one. It's weird. It breaks the laws of convention, because normally you want to be on the inside at all times, but it's just one of those tracks, as we got about 6 laps to go.
Yeah, you were saying that places like turn 3 as Com United almost loses it over the curbing out of turn 8. Places like turn 3 with the banking, it's actually a great place to send it around the outside. And if you don't get the move done around there, you're going to have a nice acceleration advantage heading up through that long section there. So maybe that's the place to send it this coming week. Who knows? We've got 5 laps to go, and Aiden's got a 3-second gap out somehow still holding on to these 16-lap-old mediums, Wreckers.
It probably does help that Zombie and Yusef are fighting pretty hard right behind him. As you were talking about the turn 3 banking, Zombie got a move done just before that turn 3 banking, going side by side with Yusef, and now pretty firmly ahead. These are also drivers that are on pretty ancient tires. So, I mean, these tires definitely qualify for a seniors discount as they make their way through. And now we're on to the final 5 laps of the Grand Prix. It is this lap plus 4 more. So they're going to go ahead and continue to speed on through. Abhishek closing in on Com United. Trying to maybe go for a retake here, but it's going to be tricky. But look at Nixon right behind. He's going to try to make a move. Oh, this is a spot you don't normally see a move, but there is DRS, so he's going to up. Oh, contact between the Ferrari and
Oh,
the Sauber is around. The Sauber's around. Oh, me, oh my. It doesn't matter where you look on this racetrack. There's always some sort of drama. Now, the question is, has Aiden's tires hit that cliff? Because now Zombie is going to be pretty much right on his gearbox. Same with Youssef.
oh no.
And with DRS.
That's
And that's Nixon.
that's Nixon. Oh, oh,
Abhishek just
Nixon and Abhishek heading into the
Nixon
pit
straight to the
lane.
wall there, at least from that angle.
It looked like to me Nixon might have turned into Abhishek. Actually, we have conflicting opinions here, but
I mean,
that is not what you want to see.
Either way, contact in the pits, regardless of whose fault it is, that's something you do not want to see here. You do not want to see.
That's always forbidden in league racing.
Exactly. Like, I mean, regardless, you guys should have not been trying to go side by side into the pit lane. Even whether it was Abhishek turning into Nixon or vice versa. Yeah, you do not want to. You never want to see that. But yeah. So that is now 8 retirements on the day. So here's a fun fact for you. Even if and you know the top 15 would score points here on a regular day, and Zombie's actually gone past Aiden is rated. I think we missed that while going through the Abhishek battle, or Abhishek versus Nixon. Okay, so actually Nixon's in chat saying he was at fault because overtaking. Huh, interesting. So he tried to give way. That one might get called off as a racing incident. Yep. Youssef actually gets past Aiden Raiden.
Aiden's getting eaten up by these two on the same sort of age tires, but the conflicting compounds will never go well as Aiden gets back past with the DRS, and Kenworth went for a move on Youssef and actually stuck it around turn 1 down the inside. So our podium looking from Aiden dominating everything. Now he's down to P2. Looks like he's under threat here from Kenworth heading up into turn 6 and 7 here. Will Kenworth look to go around the outside? No, he'll just stick it back. As this looks like it's going to be a very entertaining battle for P2 here towards the back end of the race.
Oh yeah, and I mean, as actually I'm hearing that Aiden and Zombie are on 77% on their tires. Whew.
Ooh.
Yeah, they got VIP tickets on the struggle bus right now. As that's not gonna stop Kenworth from going for a move. Oh, he's gonna try to send it, and here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna get ready to start the penultimate lap here. Quicksilver, I'm passing this one to you. I'll take back over for the final lap. Over to you for lap 24 out of 25.
Ladies and gentlemen, get your popcorn, because if you think Aiden is letting go of P2, you would be mistaken, as he's going to go for another move around the outside with his DRS advantage. Doesn't look like he's going to stick it this time with Kenworth. They're going to battle into turn 2, actually. But now Kenworth has that favourable outside line we were talking about earlier, and he's going to have an acceleration advantage out of here. And it looks like he has no ERS to back it up. Aiden, if he just sticks behind, he could have a massive speed advantage on the straight now heading into turn 8. It seems as though they're all going to keep it nice and planted in this complex. Don't count out Youssef in P4. He's going to try and have a go at these two as Aiden slots open the rear wing with DRS, about 70% battery. But it doesn't look like he's going to be able to catch back up. But as we know, it is a very long straight. Wreckers coming up. So would you like to take this final lap away?
I will do just that. So here we go. Final lap of the Grand Prix. Zombie now over 80% wear on his tires. Youssef is out. He has broken the wheel straight off of his McLaren. And Aiden is rated and tries to get the move done around the outside onto Kenworth. 21 lap old mediums versus 12 lap old hards. That's a battle you're not going to win very easily. And that is drama here at the end. He just bended coming out of 14, I think. We've seen a lot of people bend it right there at that turn 14. And we'll probably see it quite a bit here throughout the rest of the week. Aiden is Raiden, though. He is going to go in and just try to burn everything down here and try to catch back up. Hoffy has been disconnected as there's a yellow in. Oh, Aiden is Raiden. Does he have a puncture?
Oh!
No, he does not. He is holding on for dear life in that Red Bull. Holding on for dear life as he tries to go through. Kenworth has checked out a bit. And now he's making his way through the final couple of corners here in this Dutch Grand Prix. He's got just one more corner left to go. Kenworth is catching it, but it's not going to be enough. And on over 80% tire wear, Zombie wins the Dutch Reserve Grand
Kenworth,
Prix.
slow down.
Oh, Kenworth might have actually been out of fuel. He might have
He's...
just...
he didn't have a fuel light on. So he just slowed down and let back past Aiden.
Might have been some other incident as Unk Rookie will cross the line. And even though there's no points on the line for this one, this is going to be a career best finish for Kongbus. Top 5 result. He will come up in a P5 for Kongbus. As Sunny Bray will be the next one across the lines, the Governor P7. Com United will be in P number 8. Hoffy, who has been under the control of his AI for the last lap or so. He is going to go ahead and come across the line now in P9. And then it is now down to the last 2 drivers. Phoenix will finish a lap down on, or no, not quite a lap down. Hey, actually, yeah, it was a lap down, I think, in P11. But, hey, a good result for Phoenix. I mean, hey, sometimes surviving is part of the achievement.
Of course, especially for someone sort of new to the league, you're maybe not expecting to necessarily win your first few races, but no, it's all about the experience in the reserve programs. Of course, helps you gain tons of it, tons of racecraft, awareness, just everything you need is to shape yourself as a future driver in the league.
Exactly that. And also considering that, like, there's a lot of drivers from Div 1, 2, 3, and 4 here as a Div 5 reserve. Some pretty steep competition as the podium celebration goes live. So we're going to view our superlatives here. This is going to be a interesting one. So race winner and cleanest driver is communicating with online services. All jokes aside, it is Zombie. Fastest lap going to Kenworth. Driver today and the most overtakes goes to Aiden is Raiden. So here are the results kind of pan out here. It is going to be Zombie ahead of Aiden is Raiden. Kenworth with the fastest lap rounding out the podium. Unk Rookie, Kongbus, Sunny Bray, the Governor, Com United, Hoffy, Ninvim, Phoenix, and then the retirements of Yusef, Abhishek, Nixon, Savannah, Crutter, Dubs, Gangster, Guts for Life, and Axed, rounding out the field of 20 here on the night. There's no interviews tonight due to it being the reserve program, so we're going to go ahead and wrap this one up. Quicksilver, how did you find your first time commentating here in Rush?
I had plenty of fun commentating tonight. I think I had my work cut out for me with all 8 retirements. It was battles up and down the field. There was just so much going on, and that's just a preview of the excellent week we're about to have in Rush.
Yeah, so it's going to be a fun week here in all of our divisions. And this is going to be a fun week. I love Zandvoort. It's such a fun track. And, I mean, as we see, it could be a hotspot for drama. So I think we got a pretty spectacular week ahead of us for the penultimate week of Rush Racing Season number 10. Crazy thing that we're already in the second to last week here in Rush. But, yeah, it's going to be a fantastic week. And as I am aware of, as far as I'm aware, this is the last reserve program that I myself will be covering. It'll be at least, I think it's going to be SJ and Sunny Bray actually covering next week for the reserve program. So I do want to just go ahead and say thanks to everybody who's tuned in for these reserve programs. They're a lot of fun, and like Quicksilver said way earlier in the broadcast, if you want to try to go ahead and give this whole league racing thing a try, then try the reserve program. It's a shorter race, it's a fun race, and I mean, it's about a 30-minute race, give or take. It's really fun. Like you said, you can build us a good experience, good racecraft, good awareness, good. You can build your pace up too. You can learn from a lot of drivers who are in Div 1, Div 2, Div 3, etc. So, and even for the full-time drivers, it's a good way to get some extra practice in ahead of the week, especially for a lot of drivers who do have championship fights. Div 1, well, pretty much everything but Div 3 really still has a pretty good championship battle on the cards. But I just want to go ahead and say that's going to wrap things up here officially. A massive shout out to Sim Racing Center, SimLab, and Pagnan Advanced Simulation for all their support, as well as you guys here in the Twitch chat being as awesome as always. And on behalf of Quicksilver, my name has been Patrick Coleman, aka Rekus, and we have been your hosts and commentators for tonight's action. Stay tuned for an action packed week here in the Netherlands. Stay hydrated, and we'll see you guys next time. Good night.